Admiral's log. It failed. I write that plainly because I find that plain language is what failure deserves. Ornament is for victories. This was not a victory. I predicted this. I want that recorded not as self-vindication. I take no pleasure in being right about a defeat. But because the record must be honest, and the honest record shows that I told Washington we were not ready. I told them in writing, I told them in language that left no room for misinterpretation. Because I have learned over 30 years that rooms left in language tend to be filled with exactly the kind of optimism that gets men killed. They ordered the invasion regardless. I executed the order. That is my duty, and I do not resent it. Because I'm a man who understands the chain of command and what it means to operate within it. But I will not stand here in the privacy of this log and absorb blame that does not belong to me. There is a difference between responsibility and culpability, and I insist on that distinction with every fiber of professional integrity that I possess. I am responsible for the execution. I am not culpable for the outcome of being handed a task without the tools necessary to complete it. Northern Columbia had no navy. My ships were never in danger. That is the single merciful fact in an otherwise grim accounting. The failure was not of courage, not of seamanship, not of the men who served under my flag on that coastline. The failure was Washington's. You cannot finish what you cannot start, and you cannot start what you have not yet built to sustain. We didn't have the ships. The ships that we do have, I named after states. Massachusetts, New York. They are good ships. Honest work. There are not yet enough of them, and that is the entire story of what happened off the coast of Northern Columbia. Stripped of politics and blame and the particular way Washington has of converting its mistakes into someone else's lesson. The objective stands. Columbia has not moved. The faction has struck Americans, is still operating from that territory. Still confident, still, I suspect, watching my ships on the horizon and drawing conclusions that will eventually prove catastrophic for them. Let them have their moment. It is a short one. The yards are working. I am working. When the steel is in the water and the crews are at their stations, we will return to that coastline, and the conversation we begin then will be a considerably different one than the conversation Washington forced me to have before I was ready. I do not fail twice. That is not a boast. It is the only promise I know how to keep. Hey there, welcome back. It's episode 2. And the Chilean tensions are rising. To the point where a person has been arrested with strong evidence that he was spying on our country. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs asked you how he should act at a diplomatic level. Not sure why he's asking an admiral, but okay. The interesting thing is I can accuse Chile, or I can point to the North Koreans. Well, the Koreans in general. I'm going to say no, that was Chile, in fact. And that is going to drive us over the edge. You can see there's a lot of operations going on in the world. No, I'm not doing that again. I'm going to have a little bit more things to do. Minus 99. Okay, we're going to war in the next turn. As I predicted, I wasn't able to complete the invasion of Northern Columbia, unfortunately. I really wanted that territory, but we have bigger fish to fry. In fact, there are a couple of territories which are now held by Chile, which have oil. So that means liberation is on its way. And I now have a few more ships to commence liberation with. 3 of my ships are at sea, the Massachusetts, the New York, and the Pennsylvania. North Carolina is sitting in New York. And over here, the Vermont is sitting in the Caribbean, in Balboa. So she's ready to strike at the western side of South America. Chile has its hands full, because Chile is not just fighting me. They're also fighting their neighbor, Argentina. Now, Argentina seems to have some issues of its own, as the Chileans were planning a naval invasion there. So far, I'm not so sure if they're actually going to be able to do that, not with 6 light cruisers. That's 33,000 tons, They need 35, but that's not counting the resistance that the Chileans are undoubtedly going to face from the Argentinians. So good luck with that. And while you're there, I will take over your key territory of Chile. But that's not the priority. Peru is. So that's where the fleet's going to go. 34,000 tons, head towards Lima. That's only 4,500 tons for 625, so it should be easy to take. And of course, the Balboa, which has, or rather Port Balboa, which has the Vermont, is also going to dispatch Vermont there. One desperately weak side that I have right now is patrolling my merchant routes. Thankfully, I don't have any territories here. I don't have any tonnage, so I don't have any ports, that is. I do have it here, so there may be some clash there, but for the moment, not so sure. Oh, by the way, the Brits decided to take Buenaventura, and with that, southern Colombia. So I now am fairly close to the British. I'm still building out 2 new ships, and I got some money to spare, but not that much. I do expect that I'll find a bunch of money coming in rather quickly, because we're going to war. So that means build another battleship, and yes, I'm minus right now, but just wait until one turn. Here we go. We're gonna threaten Chile with war, and Chile said, nope, we're gonna delay. Crap. That's not what I was hoping for. Also, the Chileans supposedly gave me money, but I have not yet received it in my accounts. Come on, people. I'm trying to have a little bit of a battle over here, and it's just not happening. I'm not really at high tensions with anybody else. And I just got reset with Chile. Portugal. Chile is still minus 44. I'm going to continue to pester them. Where is Chile? Here. Increased tension. Yes. Okay. At the moment, I am at Lima with 4 battleships. That is a bit of a show of force. We're going to start spreading these guys out. One, the Massachusetts is going to go to Manta. The rest of the ships will get spread up, or spread out. One is going to go there. I want that to be the Vermont. That leaves us with 2 additional ships. One is going to go to Coronel, Pennsylvania. And the New York is going to stay close to Lima. That's the Massachusetts. That's the Vermont. Pennsylvania, so this has to be the New York. You're going to be close to Lima. Off you go. You all have your assignments. I expect to be obeyed. I expect you guys to execute. You guys are all going to be set to sea control. This is going to cause tension. And hopefully with that, actually they're already in sea control. With that, hopefully we will see a bit more tension with the Chileans rise faster. Because I need to start taking territory. The Brits are moving, the oil is flowing, yet we're not moving forward. So that's about to change. I'm not exactly sure what I did to piss off the Empire of Japan, but they've sent us an ultimatum. They want me to hand over $7 million. I don't think so. Which is probably immediately going to push me to war with Japan. I want to see what happens. Russia and Belgium. Germany and Belgium. And we're still not at war. What? Japan, minus 99. Chile, minus 99. Okay, fine. I do have a few new ships coming out. I think it may be wise to park these at Pearl Harbor. This is a Massachusetts Mark II. It's the New Mexico and the Arkansas. And yeah, the second one's also going to go to Pearl. Now, I have also done a couple of small refits. It was nothing really worth showing on camera. It's just a couple of under-the-hood improvements. Like, it's a better engine. They have a slightly lower explosive chance. That's about it. Let's see, the Massachusetts... No, I still need to fix the New York, this one. Unfortunately, all the New Yorks are still kind of, you know, busy pestering the Chileans. I'm going to once again increase tension with Chile because my ships are in position there. And I think I can get a fairly quick victory against Chile if they will let me. But so far, we're not seeing a whole lot of that. The next turn, we are about to threaten Japan. to accept our terms or go to war. And Japan said, oh no, please don't hurt me. And they gave me 184 million. Isn't that nice? So with that cash, I can potentially buy some new battleships. Especially as my battleships cost a little bit north of 100 million. At this point, am I not minus 100 with Chileans? Still not? Come on, Chile. Get a grip. Alright, I guess we'll order another ship. We need a new state. Let's see, we already got the North Carolina. This is going to be the South Carolina. So that's the Mark II. I'm going to order up another New York Mark II for, well, let's say smaller patrol duties. And you can see these things are expensive. Here, 67 million and 111 million. So what the Japanese just did, effectively, is sponsor a new battleship. And a smaller one to boost. So that's nice. Research-wise, we're making progress. We're getting large guns Mark 211. And eventually we'll get very large guns Mark 14, Mark II. It'll be a ways off. I have prioritized these for now. Hull strengthening is coming along, and it will allow me to get to the Dreadnought USA. So let's prioritize that. And now you can see we're bleeding a bit of cash, but now I can keep that up for way longer. Still, give me something to fight. That's what these battleships are for, It just says battle in the title, so give me something to battle. Despite threatening with Chile with war again, I'm starting to feel more like a Shakedown mobster and less of an Admiral. Because once again, the Chileans have given me enough to buy another battleship. This is a very interesting way to start a campaign. Yet, it is not exactly what I thought we would be doing. However, all this cash comes in handy because we now get access to the Dreadnought USA. So, considering that that is in the title, I think it should very much be a new ship. The question is then going to become, how is that new... Excuse me? Upgrade shipyard? What are you talking about? Hold on. Did you just You just obsoleted all my shipyards? All my designs? What the hell? I can only do 17,000 tons. Okay. And how much do I need? Like 20k something? I saw this number gradually going up. I haven't even built the shipyard yet. So now I'm going to have to wait, what, 2 years? Before I can build something bigger? Or rather, start construction on something bigger? That's bananas. Okay, fine. I guess we're going to be building additional Massachusetts Mark IIIs. If you just give me enough of these big guns, I can still make quite a dent in some other navies. That is, provided they'll actually want to, fight me. And at the moment, there aren't really any other players around who are interested in doing that, except for Portugal. Let's see if we can shake down Portugal. Increase tension. Portugal may not want to. Germany, Soviet Union. Why does everybody hate the Portuguese? What the hell is that about? What did they say? I don't know. It's turning into a bit of a really weird start of a campaign. But no less interesting, because it is weird. Shaking down Portugal, negotiating with Portugal, gave me another small bit of money. Now it is over to the Kingdom of Norway. I hate this color because the distinction between this and the background for me with the colorblind vision is too small. I can't see this. I guess the game decided to pick this because it's simply out of other colors. Anyway, at this point, yeah, let's go get some additional budget and well, maybe see if Norway wants to play. Oh, Sweden is provoking me. Do you really? There is so much happening in the world. It's hard to keep up with. Belgium, by the way, has been overrun by the Germans. Not the first time, won't be the last. So Belgium has ceased to exist. That was a short campaign for them. In less than 2 years, they have gone belly up. Or rather, been swallowed into Germany's ever-increasing belly. The Austro-Hungarians and the Soviets are having a bit of a brawl. The Austro-Hungarians somehow have an army force of 3,000 men, but they must be from Sparta because they're holding off 1 million other Soviets. Over here, you're seeing a little bit of an expedition. I guess this is where the rest of the Austro-Hungarian army has decided to go. And in Ukraine, yeah, that is where the Soviet Union is weak. And the Austro-Hungarians are taking them to bat. And I'm just sitting here on the sidelines. Basically watching and lurking and planning. But it's a bit of a boring start. Especially as I cannot build the other battleships. I mean, yeah, I'm 3 turns in. I could cancel it right now, but it won't be big enough for a shipyard. So, no, I don't want to cancel. As for additional hulls, I wish I could build them. But I just don't have the tonnage in my shipyard. Isn't that nice? And I don't think hull construction is really going to finish it. We are getting very large guns. We're getting Mark II 12s, which is nice for the other class of ship. But I just need something to battle. It looks like we have a winner, and it's not who I thought it would be. It's the Ottoman Empire. They have sent us an ultimatum to withdraw our fleet. Yes, blah, 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 game. Of course my fleet's not there. We should never accept this. And does that mean war? Does that mean war? Yes, it does mean war. Finally, the British and the Germans immediately go to town. The United States, that's myself, and the Ottoman Empire go to town. And of course, that's going to have ripple effects everywhere. Now, at this point, we're going to send the fleet all the way to the Ottoman Empire. This is not where I expected to be operating for my first little sortie, but okay, here we are. So, who has oil? Who would like to be liberated? Iraq is a safe bet, although it hasn't been discovered there. Other territories don't seem to have it. What's their fleet like? 43 ships, lots of small stuff, few bigger ones. Alright. Doesn't really impact my force composition that much. Unfortunately, still no Panama Canal, so I'm going to have to go around. These 4 ships, the Massachusetts, the New York, the Pennsylvania, and the Vermont, have all been modernized. They're now in 1902 refit. And we're going to send them out towards the central Mediterranean and see what we get once we get there, because it's 5 turns away. We also have some other ships, both ships coming into being. This one is in the South Pacific. We got one in Western... Let's see, we got one in New York here, the North Carolina. North Carolina is a Massachusetts Mark II. That means a couple of 13-inchers and a lot of 6s. Should be sufficient to at least start rattling some of the torpedo boats. Some other ships available soon-ish. We're going to have the Louisiana and the Iowa, both in 3 and 6 months. And there is another ship which is being commissioned in San Francisco, which is not really the right location. The New Mexico and the Arkansas are going to maintain their position in Pearl Harbor, because at the moment I don't yet know what the Japanese are going to do, or China for that matter. So this ship over here, I think it would be best if we just park that over on the southeastern seaboard in Wilmington. And the other one, the Iowa, I'm not sure. At the very least, it's given me a lot more cash, 30 million a month. So, time to get a new battleship out there. It's going to be another Massa 3. So, we're going to build one of you. And my ships are already getting a bit dispersed. This one I can delete. That's the old version of the 1900s. You can see I got no further New Yorks. It's just New York 1902 now. So I can essentially also delete that class. And the fewer classes you have, the more manageable it becomes. I have no base Massachusetts. That's good. Because everything is now Massachusetts Mark something. Here's the newest version of the Massachusetts. And that leaves me with, you can see, some are Mark II, some are Mark III, some are refits. At the very least, they'll all be functional. Or at least that is the plan. Now, based on what I have going around, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Massachusetts, and actually relatively fewer New Yorks. So I'm going to build another New York. Let's say it's a Mark II. And build that. Off you go. Research, nothing really too interesting coming up. We got the Mark II 12s. So we got a nice refit coming up. We got the Mark II 15s. And hull strengthening is coming up. Dreadnought 2 or experimental Dreadnought 2, but, well, I'm still being on the shipyard. So, let's set sail for the Mediterranean and see what we encounter when we get there. Quick update. I have sent one battleship to the Mediterranean, and she has been here for a while, the North Carolina. shelling the port of Tripoli, and it is now completely devoid of activity. That's great, but she's just a 14,000 ton ship. The game doesn't quite consider that enough to invade. So I need more ships. You can see I can't invade anything. But reinforcements are on the way. They're currently sitting here, 4 battleships with a total of 44,000 tons coming in. So where, you may question, is the Ottoman Empire's navy? Well, here. This is seemingly the majority of their fleet. 8 heavies, 9 lights, and 18 torpedo boats. It's no small fleet. The interesting thing is they've been raiding my merchants and essentially doing nothing else. They've just been sitting there raiding my merchants. Now, unfortunately, with basically, well, not half the fleet, but quite a few of the fleets of the fleet units tied up, I can't really do that much yet. But I can't sit idly by either, so I'm gonna devote one of these ships from Pearl Harbor to come over, which will be a bit of a trek. It's gonna take half a year. Don't we have anything slightly closer? Southeast Asia, Manila. How long is that gonna take? Is that gonna take also 7 months, or is it gonna be slightly faster? 5 turns. Well, well, well. Yeah. Start your journey. Good lord. Okay, we'll be there eventually. There is another ship being commissioned in Philadelphia, and that's the Iowa. It's a Massachusetts Mark III. Between her and the presence of, where is she? Eastern North America, the Louisiana and Wilmington, and the Charlestons, the Nevada, I should have enough firepower to blow these little ships out of the water. Actually, that makes me reconsider this entire journey. You're going to stay here. Now, it's nice and all that they are trying to invade, or sort of trying to raid here. I don't think they're going to be very successful. So my plan is to eradicate them, and, of course, at the same time, take some territory here. Now, why Tripolitania? It's easy. It's not particularly valuable, I'll grant you that. The reason for this is that it's going to give me some territory in North Africa. It will open me up to activity in the Central Mediterranean, which is not easy. Alternatively, I could be going for something like Syria. Syria isn't that well defended, but there is a battleship. Southern Turkey does have some protection. We have, and this is interesting, the Dardanelles. But I don't really want to be policing the Dardanelles Strait. I could, but I don't really want to. It would require me to go after Gallipoli. That is possible, but it also borders me on Greece. So I don't necessarily want to do that. The weak spot about Tripolitania is you're bordering the French. At the moment, I don't think I'm at bad relations with the French. No, I'm positive with them. The French do have quite a few ships. So yeah, we're going to stick to the plan and go for Tripolitania. Then we're going to assemble the fleet here and be ready to go on the offensive after about 2 months when the ship has gotten some commissioning done. As for the other ships over here, they are currently set to cadet level training. Not great. These guys are just cadets. I have just upped the crew training, but it'll be a while before we actually catch up. So unfortunately, we may not be that accurate. Not yet. Bit anticlimactic, not so much as a peep from the Ottoman Navy. So yeah, I'm bombarding a port, and now it is mine. This means that the United States has now arrived in the Central Mediterranean, and we have a resupply point. Which is good, because my fuel is okay. I'm not sure what we've been using our ammo on. I suppose it may have been on the shelling? I've not been in a conflict with these ships once. So let's hop into Tripoli for a quick resupply. And then potentially go for Cyrenaica later. That, however, has 2 ports, but they're not heavily defended. I think it's time we venture out and go say hello. Because by this point, some of my battleships have had a little bit of time to train. These guys are now trained. Did you say many? Many? Oh. That's a design flaw. I typically design every single ship with maximum bulkheads, and this time around, I just forgot to do it. Curious. At least you got maximum bulkheads. Well, we'll just fix that in a future refit. Guys, you're going to assemble over there. And then we're going to take the fight to the Ottoman Navy. 18 torpedo boats is no joke. That is potentially a lot of torpedoes, but it's 1904. I suspect these torpedo boats came from the 1900s. That means their torpedo range is very short. Potentially about 1 kilometer or so. And that means they're going to have to get really close in order to deal with me. That isn't impossible, but it is giving me opportunities to keep them at bay. For you, if you're very eagle-eyed, you may have noticed that my funding has grown to about $500 million. This is because there was the Japanese Empire, and my government wanted me to threaten them with war, and the Japanese said, no, 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 no. Here's 270 million. So I said, thank you very much. And now that also goes into my budget for further developments of battleships. At the time, not that much happening on the battleship front. I'm still waiting for that damn shipyard to complete. Because with 17,286 tons, you simply cannot build another battleship. We need a bigger shipyard. Well, isn't this something? The Ottoman Empire mobilizes to launch a naval invasion. I'm sorry. You're what? You have 600,000 tons of ships? I would be very surprised if you did. You don't even have half, dude. You are way out of your depth. Also, I am pretty much in your circle. And I'm not attacking you. Anyway, I have a reasonably good idea where you're going. So I'm going to sit in front. Oh, there's 2 of them. Wow. I'm going to sit in front of that port. Right around there. And if you want to play, come at me, bro. Come at me. There is another battleship coming out soon, the Bainbridge. It's a New York Mark II. And she's going to be, well, arriving in probably 4, maybe 5 months. Which should be right in time for the festivities here to commence. In the meanwhile, the rest of the Navy... Oh, even the Army is now considering taking action here. That means I don't have to go after Benghazi, do I? Not really. I wonder, what is considered home territory for the Ottomans? Is that the Black Sea? Like northern Turkey, western Turkey, southern Turkey? Because I can blockade the Aegean Sea, I can blockade the Eastern Med, but I cannot get into the Black Sea. Unless we start taking out territory here. So that is what we will do. We're going to go for the Dardanelles. Not very valuable, at least not financially. But if you see what it can do, that's nice. However, do I really need to control what goes into and comes out of the Black Sea? It would be hilarious just trapping an entire fleet in there. But there isn't that much. Okay, new plan. Any valuable territories? Valuable. Southern Turkey looks nice this time of year. And it's just Italia. So that's where we're going. That's where we're going. We have been resupplied. Mostly got a full amount of ammo. We got a full amount of fuel. And we're going to invade the place. Now, the Ottomans are not really having the best time of their lives. They're at war with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 factions at the same time. So the Ottomans are not doing that hot, which benefits me. Now then, let's see if they actually want to move or not. It says they're still heading to Eastern North America. Congratulations, you have arrived. But if you want to invade this place, you're going to need a lot more. And so it begins. The enemy is now threatening New York. They're doing a strike on it, which is going to hurt. It's going to hurt quite a bit. But we do at least finally have an engagement with the task force. This is the Fatih, a battleship armed with a couple of 12-inch guns. Then we have a whole bunch of heavy cruisers, as well as a whole bunch of light cruisers as well as a heavy. I don't worry about these things. The 5-inch guns are going to be mostly tickling my armor, and that should be the end of it. This one has got to go first, and let's see if my battleships are up to the task. Finally, a fight. And I'm saying finally because even though this is the second episode, and it's... Let's say the first episode was, what, half an hour? The second episode has been running for about half an hour. But I have been at this, recording all this, for about 6 hours. That's how long these damn turns take. And that's how long it took for finally somebody to want to fight. Oh, the Iowa's happy. Yee-hoo, I get to fight something. No, that's probably not how a battleship would sound. We have Iowa, Louisiana, and Nevada. Nevada being the smaller one of the bunch. She is a cute little battleship, but don't underestimate her 12s and her 7s. She should have upgraded 12s, but I never got around to doing that. So these are 12 Mark 1. And then we have 7-inch... Can you stop with your nervous attitude? Then we have 7-inch guns, which should keep all the torpedo boats at bay. Now, these guns have pretty high anti-explosive, so 1.8 inch of armor at 10 clicks. That's quite a bit. These guys have even more, because they got 13 inchers, which are sizable. And their reload 74 seconds. They probably don't have a high cruise speed. 10 knots. Okay, we'll slow down to 10. And we're basically just going to sit this thing out and wait, while we have a look at the enemy battleship. Side-mounted guns, those must be the 8.3s. They got 8.2s in casemates. 9 inches of armor. Is that going to be a problem? Not really. I can essentially pen you at this range. And you can shoot back at about 12. So that would be now-ish. Here's the heavy cruiser. The Caravan Ibari. And she is not traveling that quickly, but still fast enough to catch up to my battleships. Armor is not bad. 3 inch of forearmor, 3 inch aft. That's respectful. And over here we got standard bulkheads. That would potentially be your weak spot. This thing, 85 million. It's racing into action at 22 knots. She's fast. Then, light cruisers are coming in at 22.7 knots. Armed with torpedo launchers at a range of 1.5. And this is when that high explosive firepower of mine comes to bear. Because 0.8 inches of fore and aft belt armor means I will cut through these things with ease. Or at least, that is the plan. Now take note of the current accuracy. We have 11 accuracy, 11%, that's with a trained crew. And we just inflicted our first hit on the battleship and took about 11% off. Including damaging their conning tower, reducing their accuracy to 1%. So that was really well done by Battleship Iowa. Gentlemen, ladies, we have begun. We have begun. Now, at this point, Louisiana is also targeting, and fairly accurately as well. You've not already range found, have you? Well, you're working on it. 120%, give or take. No! Don't shoot that. Shoot the battleship. That's where the real money is at. We'll deal with these little shits later. Range 9.4. Range 7.4. 7.2, 7.5. Okay, so for now, we're not going to target that light cruiser. 15 million. Oh boy. If you just save long enough, you grow up to be a light cruiser that's worth 150 million. Boom, boom. Nice, Louisiana. Now make sure you hit something. Alright, start training the secondaries on this incoming light cruiser. Keep in mind, any ship that gets damaged of mine is probably... Oh, hold on. Primaries on that, secondaries on that. Any battleship of mine that gets damaged is probably going to have to spend some time in dry dock to repair. And I don't have that many replacements. If any. So it is rather important that I keep my ships healthy. And mostly in pristine conditions. By all means, fire armor piercing, because these things can't really take a hit. Overpen. Good problem to have, of sorts. Now, long range very quickly becomes short range. I'm going to separate the Nevada from the division and tell her to engage that. At this range, which is about 3 and something, I can blow apart their whole superstructure with high explosive. And I get pretty decent accuracy doing it. I need you to finish off this warship here, gentlemen. Or rather, ladies. With an 83% accuracy? Damn. I would request that you actually shoot. Overpen. You need to get yourself some better armor, sir. Partial pen. Huh. The Taif is disengaging. I wonder why. See, Nevada's just shrugging off any firepower that these guys can bring to bear. She essentially doesn't care. I'm going to turn her around and go after the Gairet il Vatani, because that thing's coming in with a vengeance. I'd rather take it out before it actually gets some hefty damage in. You guys aren't really able to pin that. Oh, yes you can. Yep, that'll do it. So far, all ships at full health. I do need you to wipe this ship out rather soon, because it is coming in. And it does seem to have torpedo intentions. Speaking of, did you just launch a torpedo at me, sir? Ooh, that was hefty. Boom, boom. Destroy the main gun. You're lucky you didn't get a flash fire from that. Okay, we're good. At this point, though, we're good from the battleship, but that light cruiser is within torpedo range. And there are several more. I feel like I'm getting a little bit surrounded here. I need you to maintain pressure on that battleship. That thing has to go down. You, reload those 12-inchers. Or just use your 7s. And sink that ship. Well done, Nevada. Keep it up. I think with this campaign, we're especially going to see more, let's say, familiar ships, more heroic ships. Simply because... Holy shit. Simply because we don't have that many of them. So, much more than in previous campaigns, especially the last one, you're going to start seeing ships which names, or whose names you've already seen before. Nice work. That was 12k, almost 13. I'm going to get some distance from this ship here. Nevada still not really caring about anything that the light cruisers have done to her so far. They're still supposedly sinking, but not that quickly. You guys, sink this. That's the Utarit coming in fast. This thing's no longer really a threat. We're going to switch fire. Oh, speaking of. Hard to port. That is going to get us closer to the other division, but shouldn't get us so close that they can launch a torpedo at me. Fine. We'll be fine. Over to starboard. Put her at 8 knots. Nice damage. That was your secondaries, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Secondaries have done more damage than the primaries. We're almost at the point where the battleship's going to go down. I am a little concerned about where else you got torpedo tubes. On the bow, supposedly. Are you going to ram me, sir? Yes, they are. How about that? That's the first time I've seen the AI ram me. It's not like they have the complaint that they don't have a working rudder. That's weird. That means Louisiana's taking some flooding. We are otherwise fine. Nevada? Did you just torpedo me? Whoops. At flank. Over to port. Over to port. Close call. Steady as she goes. Oh, you bastard. That's a really bad angle for them, though. But they did get it. I'm having difficulty getting rid of these light shits fast enough. What I do appreciate about them is that they're finally making these things work. Normally the AI is just not smart enough, so to speak. Jesus. They're just not smart enough to rush me. But now that's exactly what they're doing. Okay, this thing has 3 floodings. Are you gonna ram me as well? I find it very difficult to believe that that is intentional. Turret's down. Shit. Got more incoming. Start targeting this one. Bursa is down. That's the light cruiser. Now the damage to Louisiana looks worse than it actually is. She's got a bit of flooding, but we'll be able to fix that soon. Iowa is still recovering from her torpedo impact. Nevada is about to have torpedo problems. And will likely take a hit. Yeah, I need to start investing in better torpedo protection. There it is. That was 6.8k. We're going to start taking this thing out. The good news is all of this shit is happening at my front door. Which means we should mostly be able to keep everybody repaired and in the action. That at least is the objective. What are these guns doing? 7-inch. 4,700 damage. Can you stop torpedoing me, please? That is 1, 2, 3, 4 floodings on the Nevada. That is not great. If they sink this, that's 70 million down. The good news is I still have a little bit of buoyancy left. The bad news is not much. Not much. Come on, use those 7s. Eliminate these light cruisers. Some of them still hold torpedoes. Oh, come on, Iowa. Save the Nevada. Get it done. What? Oh, hello. It's the heavy cruiser. Ah, shit. Nevada got hit again. But in a compartment which was already flooded, so the damage was actually limited. For now. Boom. There are mostly damaged ships here. Iowa, I need you to start focusing on the heavy, but the heavy isn't the problem, is she? No. She can blow some holes in my towers. That'll pretty much be the extent of it. Yes! 13-inch high explosive. And it got blocked. Nevada, still holding on by 6%, still has propulsion and is limping away from the rest of the contacts. Firing at anything is going to be difficult. Sometimes if a contact is pretty much directly astern, you can still get a shot off with these guns. It's not helpful, people. Louisiana, start taking down the net. Don't care which type of ammo you use, just get it done. That was nice. Fortunately, no further flooding. That is further flooding. And that's the end. Good. Next is this one, because they're coming in fast. We still have torpedoes. They still have a lot of maneuverability and speed, and I like none of those aspects. So we're going to take away some of their advantages by just peppering them with a 6-inch. Which for some unknown reason is firing high explosive at them. Oh, I don't like where this is going. Come on, flood them. Switch to armor piercing. Hold on. At 2.5 clicks range, I can pen 3.7 inches of armor. You got 4. Okay, high explosive is the better deal. Come on, Iowa. Yeah, that's not quite what I was hoping for. The 6-inch guns are doing very good work here. She's not closing to the torpedo range. Wow. Thin-skinned, huh? Now, the Nevada did half the damage of the whole battle. That was well done. Heavy cruiser still coming in to meet me. It does come equipped with torpedo launchers at a range of 3. She's going to torpedo the Nevada. Switch target. Armor piercing. Keep your bow in. Cut your propulsion. I need no speed from you. Nothing. What I want to have happen is this thing to launch a torpedo at me. And then I speed away from the predicted impact location. But I think they're not yet launching. .002 damage. Adorable. There it is. Meow. Run, run, run. No, don't run. Hold, 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 hold. They expected you to be moving, but you weren't. That's the right play. That's the right play. Okay, new target is the Taif. Decent. Secondary is firing high explosive. And all missing. Give me IP. Even the mains are missing. Accuracy is about 40, 50%. Needs more. Yep, flooding. That thing got mauled. Yeah, 6,000 damage and another 9,000 damage from a battleship with 13-inch guns. Also known as the Iowa. She is pretty much finished. And that goes basically for the rest of the cruisers here as well. It's just a matter of time. No, I will not end the battle. There will be no mercy. No surrender. Everybody will sink. At least in the enemy team. Some nice free damage over here. These things are all 15 million a pop. It's more so that I think the victory points are very interesting. Yeah, she's actually managed to recover some of her buoyancy. Well done. HE. I don't mind the Sixers. They can use AP. Nice. Torpedo detonation. Flooding. Well done. That hurt. She's gone. Cool ships don't look at other ships sinking. Unless they seal the watertight doors. In which case, sometimes you get another survivor. Okay, people, get it done. Destroyed main tower. Floodings. These guys can't do anything. There goes the Taif. This thing does appear to be liberated all of a sudden. It's no longer sticking to the rest of the formation and speeding up by a substantial margin. I gotta flood him out a little bit. Or she may actually go after my ships again. Especially the wounded Nevada. 2.1 clicks only. Over to port. 96% chance to hit. Those long barrels are amazing. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Flooding. Yes! Get fucked, dude. That is the level of devastation that battleships can deliver. You are still targeting the Met, yes. You don't have that much HE left, huh? You're done. Seen better. Iowa is now targeting the Movanet, which is already flooded, so she's not going to be particularly quick about it. She's doing about 10 knots, which is still a threat. Well, never mind that. Okay, not a flawless victory, because we definitely took some damage, but we have eliminated a portion of the Ottoman fleet. The question is now, how long is it going to take to pump these ships dry? And then see about getting them back into the fight. There we go, 30,000 victory points. Who was the biggest damage dealer? That was the Iowa. Cause of the damage was mostly the 13 inchers. I think some of those high explosive hits really messed up the enemy. Well done. Light damage, medium damage to the Nevada. And no, we will fight to the end, my dear people. Because you started this war. Sort of. At least you threatened me. And now I'm going to inform you that that was not the right course of action. Where is my wounded Nevada at? Nevada here. 3 months. And in 2 months, the Bainbridge can be taking her place. Because she's getting commissioned. In 3 months, the Nebraska is getting commissioned, which is another Mark III. You're going to go to Philadelphia. And these other two, I'm not sure about. The New York Mark II, the Rhode Island, and the Indiana. Alright. This is turning interesting. The Ottoman fleet still has 44 ships, though. 236,000 tons. Compare that to our 148,000 tons. They definitely have more tonnage. Those small torpedo boats are going to be very difficult to deal with. But, for now, I think we have the upper hand. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon for the next.